Hey there.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. Staying busy.
It's that time of year.
Yeah. Things are starting to slow down. I say that they'll start slowing down at the end of May.
Hello, everybody.
Hi there.
Hello. I'm gonna put the agenda in the chat for everyone.
So, Sarah, I was confused when I got a notice, I guess yesterday or the day before, that said the location had been changed.
I realized I'd forgotten to put the Zoom link in there.
Oh, okay. All right.
I went to send the update and I went, I didn't add the Zoom link.
Okay. I guess I just always assumed it was going to be Zoom, so I didn't realize that was a
It
change.
it was. I just forgot to tell you how to get into it.
Okay, fair enough.
So I'm glad I went in to send the reminder.
Yeah, it worked out for everyone.
Yeah. I had dutifully made the Zoom, just hadn't shared it with you.
Okay, I guess that's half of it.
Yeah. Well, I'll go ahead and get us started and I'll let folks in as they join, but it's 3 o'clock. So welcome everyone. Glad you could join us. Because we have our guest speaker, I think it might be helpful to do introductions. So just say who you are, who you're with, and since we have such a broad spectrum of locations where you are, um, and if I think I've met everyone, but just in case, I'm Sarah. And I'm in Austin. But whoever wants to go first, feel free.
Well, I'm not shy. I'll go first. I am Christine Foley, and I am the conservation educator for San Angelo and the surrounding area. So basically, the Concho Valley, it encompasses the 10 counties around Tom Green County. And Texas Wildlife Association does natural resource education for public schools and private schools. We focus mostly on K through 8, but I can also do high school as well if I am requested. And then my organization also does hunting heritage and landowner right advocacy, but I'm not really involved in the landowner right advocacy or the hunting heritage. I just do the natural resource education. And I am physically in uh, halfway between Bront and Winters outside of San Angelo. But like I said, I do service those 11 counties.
Great. Anyone else? Feel brave?
I can go next. My name is Monse Canedo. I am what they call the Regional Interpretive Specialist for the North Central region of Texas State Parks. So, to clarify what all of that means, I'm stationed out of Waco, but my region goes from about 30 minutes south of here, Mother Neff State Park, all the way up to the Panhandle at Palo Duro, and then kind of stays right outside of DFW. So if it goes into DFW, those are not my parks anymore. And then Abilene is my westernmost park. So I work with 16 state parks that cover a massive region, kind of as a support role for anything educational, so interpretation. So with trainings, new signage, brochures, events, programs, et cetera, et cetera. So I usually come to these meetings to kind of hear what's going on that I can relay back to a lot of my park interpreters and kind of try to reach out to any partners that we have around our areas.
Great.
I'm Misty Thomason. I'm at Sibley Nature Center. I'm the education director here, and we are located in Midland, Texas.
Jennifer or Melanie?
Oh, hello.
Hi, we can hear you.
Hi, yeah, so my name is Melanie. I'm the Conservation Education Program Specialist based out of the San Antonio office. I am taking time right now to join as many of the regional meetings that I can, given that I'm relatively new to my role with Texas A&M Forest Service, and I'm just kind of getting out there and letting people know that I'm here as a resource. So yeah, but even though I'm in San Antonio, I will be servicing all of the south region of the state as well as parts of the west as well. So,
Hi, I'm Jennifer. I have a registered home childcare in Clyde, and I do a lot with gardening in our community.
Great. And then I'll go ahead and introduce our speaker because that's what's up next on our agenda. So Jaden Kelly is also with A&M Forest Service, and he's going to be joining us today to talk a bit about Project Learning Tree, which is a curriculum that we work with a lot here at TCNN. And so he expressed some interest in being able to share a bit about what PLT is. So invited him to join us and talk a bit about his program. So, and then Jaden, I'm going to make you a co-host so you can share your screen.
Sounds good. Thanks, Sarah. So, howdy, y'all. Good to see ya. As Sarah mentioned, my name's Jaden Kelly. Like Melanie, I work for Texas A&M Forest Service. I'm her counterpart for basically the eastern region of the state. So I work out of our Conroe District office here on the W.G. Jones State Forest, as well as across basically the greater Houston area. And I provide education, outreach, and service programs, both here on the forest, ages 0 to 99, as well as across the greater Houston area. So a wide variety of education-based work. In addition to that, I'm the co-coordinator for Project Learning Tree for the state of Texas. So I'm really excited to have this opportunity to share a little bit about Project Learning Tree with y'all. Have any of y'all utilized PLT in the past? Are you familiar with the program? Nice, Christine. Well, you're in luck. That's what I'm here for. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's see. We'll do one. You could see I was trying to see where all y'all were located as we were listing the names. All right. So Project Learning Tree is an internationally acclaimed environmental education curriculum. It's been around for over 40 years. It was established in the 1970s, just pretty much at the same time as Project Wild. And through this curriculum, we are studying our world, our surroundings, various topics and education subject areas through the lens of trees and forestry. And a main goal of PLT is to teach kids not what to think, but how to think about certain topics. Got a brief little video here for y'all, kind of dipping a toe into the PLT world. Let me know if you could hear it. No? No?
No.
That's okay. We're hearing some nice music. Oh, yes. Look at how much fun these kids are having. It's just like a 1 minute video, so no biggie. Basically, it's a curriculum developed by career professionals and educators for career professionals and educators. It's hands-on experience that give these students what? Some real-world examples of the various science, language arts, mathematics, and social studies topics we're exploring. So we're exploring these topics through a natural lens, using aspects of the environment around us to have a better understanding of it. So Project Learning Tree is currently under the Sustainable Forestry Initiative. Sustainable Forestry Initiative's mission is to advocate sustainability through forest-focused collaborations. So, all right, that's pretty general. So, what do they do? A couple aspects of the Sustainable Forestry Initiative is they establish standards of sustainable forestry. These are best practices conducted in the timber industry. Things like managing for waterways, air quality, water quality, providing habitat, replanting, minimizing runoff and pollution, um, as well as reforesting areas, not cutting down huge clear cuts, leaving wildlife corridors, and so on. So they establish these standards, these guidelines that industries follow. If these what if the source of the timber as well as the mill producing it into a commercial product like lumber, toilet paper, books, coffee cups, etc., if they meet those standards, then they get a little SFI sticker of approval. So next time you're at the store, check out some of those paper products. You might see that SFI logo. In addition to that, they do a lot of conservation effort, preserving habitat and land, doing best management practices on that land. There's education, which PLT falls over, and we'll dive into in a second, as well as community outreach. Make different efforts to benefit local communities, underserved groups, providing experience to youth to get them prepared for a potential green career, and so on. So under the education component, their goal is to advocate environmental literacy, stewardship, and career pathways using trees and forests as a window on the world. So I know I'm joining y'all, my friends in South and West Texas. You all may think like, okay, dude, I hear you. You're out in the piney woods. Where are our trees? Like, but really, if you check out Texas, this is a map of forest coverage in Texas. Forest is just basically an ecosystem that trees make up a large component of that system. So that includes our South Texas shrubland, some of our mountainous areas in the west, going up to the Palo Duro area. So we see on here about 100,000 square miles of Texas is forested. And that's equivalent to the size of Louisiana and Mississippi combined. So pretty impressive stuff. We are the second, we have the second greatest total amount of forests out of any state, following Alaska. And we account for all or about 23% of woodlands and forests in the southern United States. So even though I may be coming at it from the lens of the piney woods, this is a tool that can be utilized in your region. It's still applicable, and pretty much all the activities um, what apply to your area as well. So this is a pretty handy tool. It's what I utilize regularly in my day-to-day work, whether I'm doing youth field trips here on the forest, or I'm going into classrooms or libraries, community centers in my community. It makes my life a lot easier, so I'm hoping I could share how it can make your life easier as well. So POT has a similar vision to SFI. It's to advocate environmental literacy, stewardship, and career pathways using trees and forests as our tool to do so. We have the goal of creating a future where our next generation values our natural world and resources, and they have the knowledge and skills to make informed decisions and take responsible action. I know all of us would love to create the next generation of natural resource professionals, because that's what we are, that's what we love to do. But as long as we can make informed citizens, I'll be happy with it. So a little bit about the history of PLT. Like I said, it's been around since the 70s. It was pretty much the first large-scale environmental education curriculum. It was launched by the American Forest Institute along with the Western Regional Environmental Education Council. Over the years, there's been several updates to the curriculums and additions. We expanded into early childhood, green jobs, so on. We have curriculums focused on fire, wildlife biodiversity, etc. It was shifted under SFI the nonprofit, in 2017, and today it's one of the most widely used pre-K through 12 environmental education curriculums, both in the US and internationally. So the main goals of PLT is to increase awareness, knowledge, provide a challenge, and give students a chance to take responsible action. So we want students to provide students with this awareness and appreciation and skills to address these complex environmental issues. We want them to be able to understand and use scientific processes to resolve these complex problems and to get a tolerance for diverse viewpoints. We know that a lot of the issues we're facing today don't have a single answer. So we want to provide them with open-ended activities that give them the ability to come to their own conclusions. We don't want to just give them the answer. We know that several answers can meet our need. And so this encourages creativity, originality to resolve these problems. So who's in our PLT network, you might ask? Check this out. We've got a lot of national partners from U.S. Forest Service, Fish and Wildlife, Arbor Day Foundation, North American Association for Environmental Education, and so on. We also have a lot of collaborators at our state level. Our two main ones are the Texas A&M Forest Service and Texas Forestry Association. And then we have a great network at the local level as well. This will be school teachers who have been certified in the program, various nature centers, parks, libraries, and so on. So what we provide through PLT are these three main pillars. We provide professional development opportunities, the curriculums and tools that you could utilize in your day-to-day job, and then a network of additional PLT educators and facilitators that you could lean on to collaborate with, develop resources, adopt to your local region, and so on. So PLT has a wide range of curriculum. We'll check out the website here in a second. There's online trainings and in-person trainings. I know Melanie's hosting a PLT training in San Antonio. Is that later this month?
Yeah, May 22nd.
May 22nd. So is there still time to register, Melanie, if anyone's interested?
Yes, the deadline is May 9th, so this Friday, but
Right.
there's time.
So if PLT is something you're interested in, and you could potentially make a trip out to San Antonio, might be worth checking out. So a wide variety of curriculums. Pre-K through 8 is kind of the main bread and butter of PLT, but there's also early childhood, green jobs, and then more specialized curriculum focusing on, we see energy within an ecosystem, carbon and climate, and so on. There's also a lot of support materials available on the PLT website once you're certified as an educator. We'll go ahead and check that out real quick. We'll pull up, let's see, is this the right one? Yeah. Nope, wrong one. There we go. So once you become a certified educator through Project Learning Tree, which basically means you've attended a training either virtually or in person, you get an account on the PLT website, which is just plt.org. On your account, you could go to your resources and you could see the various guides that you have available. So Trees and Me is our early childhood guide, working with kids 1 to 6 years old. If we took a peek at that, we could see it's broken up into three sections, one focused on senses, another on seasons, and another one on exploring your local environment. If you need any, so we'll find an example one. If we go to our shape of things activity, we see we have downloads for the different student pages available. You won't have to scan your book. You can just print out these student pages directly from the website. So that makes life a little easier. There's also a lot of add-ons available, recommended books that go along with it, additional resources, um, label shape template, make how to make binoculars for your kids, and so on. A lot of the time, as an informal educator myself, I do not have a great understanding of the Texas essential knowledge and skills. So occasionally, when I'm hosting a field trip here at the forest, I'll get a group that comes out and they say, all right, we have third graders and we'd love to get these subject areas covered. And I don't know how I could, what exactly that entails on my end. But we also have our state PLT website hosted by Texas Forestry Association. And on here, you'll see our upcoming workshops as well as our teak alignments. So this makes my life easier. We can see it's split up by grade level, by the teaks associated with each activity. So if I know, okay, we'd love for you to cover some of our science teaks for sixth graders, this allows me to go to this document and say, all right, I'm going to do these three activities for you, and we are meeting these teaks. So it's improved my quality of life when planning these programs. Speed run. Um, we didn't see in there, but also for all those student pages, they come in both English and Spanish. So that's pretty useful, especially as we get to our communities in South and West Texas. There's also take-home documents that you can provide to the parents that show like, hey, these are what we covered today and little extensions that they can do at home. As far as how this curriculum is developed, it goes through a pretty extensive process. We see it's not just pieced together by some intern, just what down in Red Bulls and pumping this out. It goes through a pretty meticulous process with a market research and advisory committee workshops. We pilot it, run it through pilot classrooms, review it and edit it before we finally design and publish it and send it forward. I really enjoy that this is one of the curriculums made up of from a collaboration of national agencies, state agencies, public universities. And that sometimes makes me feel good instead of it coming from basically like a corporate background. You know that these career professionals have your best interest in your background as educators. So I think it's a pretty good fit for our day-to-day life. As far as who's a part of this network, we see we reach over 1 million students annually. We have about 20,000 educators back in 2019 across the United States and internationally as well. We have about 1,200 facilitators, people who could go out and lead these educator workshops. Several coordinators at the state level and sponsor organizations and our advisory committee. If we jump forward to 2022, we see across 28 states, we are able to reach over 2 million students through over 11,000 educators and 523 of those educator workshops. So it's a pretty wide-ranging program. Something I enjoy about it is that the curriculum is really flexible. Uh, Sometimes I'll use the same activity for fifth graders as I would for eighth graders. It's just you could easily adjust it to be a little more complex, go in a little more detail, or simplify it. They have some helpful adaptations inside the guide as well. So here's some of the team who helps put this together. We see a lot of our SFI, PLT national team here. And then our state coordinators are Ted Steven from the Texas Forestry Association and myself with the A&M Forest Service. And y'all, if you ever have any questions, even before you get certified, once you're certified, even in general, just for your day-to-day function, feel free to reach out and we'd love to help either assist in adapting a program to meet your needs for a specific group and location, just brainstorm ideas, come up with a lesson plan for you, and so on. Schedule a training, all sorts. That's what we're here for. So if we're going to take a look at what this book actually looks like, here's how it's broken down. We see it's broken into age group sections. We get our title and our objectives, the different subjects being covered, the STEM skills being covered, the materials you'll need. Remember, this is a curriculum made by career professionals and classroom educators. So a lot of times the materials are very inexpensive and typically on hand. You might already have it in your craft closet and so on. So we see we'll need small branches, tree cookie, a little cross section of a tree, photo of a tree, chart paper, tapered glue. So pretty straightforward. It gives you our time considerations. It'll let you know if it's an indoor or outdoor activity, some fun facts and background, prep work, and so on. It'll take you through the steps of doing the activity. We see we have an adaptation to move this one outside. We see opportunities for the students to express their voice, show their personal connections to the topic at hand, and so on. And we see we have a variation. If you want to, this was a kindergarten through second grade activity. If you want to scale it up to third through fifth, it lays out an example of how you could do that. We see our academic standards. These are lined up to the national standards, but you could go to the Texas Forestry Association PLT page to see our state standards, ways we could assess our programs, and ways we can enrich it as well. And then our student printout pages. Another focus of ours is green jobs. Basically, what is a green job? It's any job that supports the environment or contributes to a more sustainable world. As we move forward in Texas, the Texas Education Agency shared that 60% of middle skilled STEM jobs require 6 months or less of formal classroom training. These are well-paying jobs that we could communicate with our students. They average between 35,000 and 95,000 a year for middle skill jobs. And we see this, workforce, these needed jobs are increasing. We see STEM jobs nearly double that of all other jobs in Texas. They pay well. Some of them only require an associate's degree or certification programs. So this is something we really advocate for when our students, and our Green Jobs curriculum helps push this forward and informs our students that, hey, these positions are available. There's fun things in there, like a little survey your students can take. It's like a personality quiz to see, okay, what green jobs might fit my personality? Will I be a environmental educator? Will I be a good forester or a wildlife biologist? Maybe working in the marketing team. Maybe I'll work in the economic side of things. But it's putting all these through the lens of STEM occupations and natural resource related jobs. So we see just in the forest sector alone, we're expecting in 10 years, we're going to have about 16,000 job openings. So it is a field that has plenty of opportunity for our kids to move into. We also put a big focus on the health benefits that come from trees in our PLT curriculum. We look at how it benefits our cardiovascular health, our mental health, and so on. And this is something that is expressed through the activities as well. I've got a short little video here. Oh, we're not going to be able to hear it, but it kind of goes into those urban forest benefits. Let's see, check that out.
Jaden, if you want to try and stop sharing and then resharing,
Yeah,
you
I
click
might.
on the little caret next to share under advanced sharing options. You can click, you should be able to see also sound. Let me see.
Advanced sharing.
So, okay, wait. So just click the green share and you'll see all your screens. And then on the
Oh,
right-hand side, there's a checkbox for share sound.
there we go. Thank you.
It's okay. I'm here to troubleshoot.
Yeah, you rock.
Need a break? How about a Forest Fast Break? Brought to you by Texas A&M Forest Service and TexasForestInfo.com. Today's topic, urban forest benefits. Picture your community, the buildings, the cars, the streetlights and roads. Are you also imagining the forest? Well, you should. The trees inside our towns and cities make up our urban forests, and they provide tons of benefits to all of us. You're probably thinking, of course, trees make the parks, streets, and yards look nice, but their benefits go way beyond their beauty. Trees help clean the air by removing pollutants, capturing carbon, and pumping out clean oxygen. Ta-da! Trees provide shade during sunny weather to help reduce the cooling costs of our homes and offices. Trees help control stormwater runoff, which protects water quality and reduces the need for water treatment. And trees provide wildlife habitat and food for animals and people alike. Yum! Even after a tree dies and is removed, its wood can be used for all kinds of things, from benches to bookcases to fuel wood. In many ways, our urban forests help reduce stress and make our communities a healthier place for everyone to live. And that's the story on urban forest benefits. Check out more Forest Fast Breaks at TexasForestInfo.com.
Cool. All right. So that was the quick and dirty version of PLT. There's really a lot you can gain from it. If anyone's interested in learning more, you could reach out to me. I'd love to talk one-on-one, whether we want to host a training in your area, maybe share a few example activities so that you could get a feel for it and so on. Does anyone have any questions at this time?
Jaden, I know that PLT has been working on some early childhood stuff. Could you share any of that with the group?
Yeah, so our early childhood curriculum, it's Trees and Me. It's what, first through sixth grade. It's matches up with our state early childhood standards. We did a real quick touch on early childhood on the website, but it's about a dozen or so activities. A lot of it focuses on our senses. Those activities are doing things like getting you up and moving. Each activity comes with songs and children's books that go along with it. It's something that's utilized pretty heavily by the what is it, Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service, and they're bringing it to early childhood providers across Texas. Um, but yeah, it's like hands-on, um, a lot of, hold on. yeah, helpful tips, ways to get kids outside. It's something where if you're interested in learning more, we work really closely with our local extension agents who kind of take the lead on the early childhood side of things. So if you're interested, I could get you a nice flyer for it or get you connected with your local extension agent who's certified in the early childhood curriculum.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Any other questions from the group?
Will we be able to get these slides? Will you be sending
I can
kind of
share
the
them with
recap?
y'all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll send those out, Misty, and then I'm also recording, so I'll have the recording for y'all as well.
sweet. Then I could, Sarah, I'll send you the slide deck as well as a couple flyers and those helpful links to the websites where you could see the workshops and the TEKS alignments.
And we can go to the website with just and kind of look at some of the curriculum on our own.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I found the link for the San Antonio workshop and I put that in the chat. I will say, Jaden, and this might be a TED problem. I tried to click on the calendar for Texas and the page wasn't working.
Right. The calendar, yep, it has a difficult time on the PLT website, but if you go to the PLT page on Texas Forestry Association,
Okay.
it has our workshops listed there. And if there's something that doesn't work for you, let us know. We'd love to schedule a workshop in your area. Typically, we'd like to have at least 8 to 10 interested participants in the workshop to get it up and running. And that's part of Melanie and my job is to go out and lead workshops like this. So we'd love to expand further across Texas.
And like Christine, I see the one that's in San Antonio is a combo Project Wild Project Learning Tree. So that might be an opportunity for, see, there might be a way to combine TWA and PLT. So thinking outside the box that way too.
I'll add to that too, Sarah and Jada. The PLT Texas website that we used to operate is being phased out and is not currently being updated. So everything that's the most up to date is on Texas Forestry Association's PLT page on their website.
I'll find that and I'll put that in the chat for everyone.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for having me. Let me know if you want to get a workshop scheduled. I love an excuse to go out west. I think it's beautiful out there. So send me an invite. Let's make it happen.
Well, thank you so much, Jaden. I really appreciate your time.
Of course.
And
Well,
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
oh no, I was just gonna say, hope you enjoy the rest of your meeting.
Thanks. Yeah. And I'm going to turn it over to yet another Texas A&M Forest Service person who joined us today. JC just joined us, and she's going to talk a little bit about Nature Challenge. But JC, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, and I'm going to make you a co-host so you can share your screen.
Perfect. Thank you, Sarah. And I apologize for being late. I had a horrible asthma attack earlier and just getting over that one. So if at any point my voice does cut out, I'm sorry in advance. The weather in Dallas is just not supporting my lungs today. So let me pull up what I got. I don't have any videos, so this should be fairly simple. Let's see if we can get this to share. Okay, can you guys see that okay? So because I missed our introductions at the very beginning, and I apologize again. I'm JC Tosh with Texas A&M Forest Service. I'm our state conservation education coordinator. I'm also the former PLT coordinator, so what Jaden's doing now. and I kind of have my hands on a little bit of everything. The newest of the everything is Nature Challenge, and it's been something that we've been developing for quite a while now. And then the newest digital iteration is up and ready to use, and I'm trying to get as many providers and network organizations as we can onto the platform so you guys can really start to benefit from all that it has to offer. Is anybody familiar with it already? Have you been to one of our previous trainings or heard about it? Okay, great. Well, then I love giving new information to people and not having to repeat the same old stuff. So I'm glad that this is new for you guys. Um, Essentially it comes out of a program that used to be called Texas Nature Challenge, and it was a really hands-on, labor-intensive packet of resources that all the regions would get together and they'd form a committee, and all the good organizations with the fun lessons would make this packet of resources. We had a website where families could register as a team, and then they would get their stuff, go out during the summertime, complete all these really fun activities, and turn them in at the end of the challenge period, where it would be rated and graded, and they'd get all sorts of fun prizes and stuff. It was a great program. It was just super heavy on staff time. And by the end of it in 2018, Sarah's region in South Texas was the only one that was still participating. And um, we decided in 2019, when I came on board, to kind of put that on the back burner for a minute. And then COVID happened, and we realized we really needed a family first opportunity to engage people outside of staff time in this new world. So Sarah called me one day and said, "Hey, we'd like to bring back Nature Challenge. Let's think through this." And here we are at Nature Challenge 2.0. We dropped the Texas because as we were building this platform out, using the GIS technology that we have, it's not just a Texas thing anymore. Anybody, anywhere can participate, and I'll explain how you do that. So first, I would like to start with a question because this just frames the usefulness of the resource. The most outrageous misconception about natural resources or nature that you've ever encountered. I like to share mine because it was just an eye opener for me very early on in my job here. Was that an adult person who lived in an active working forest or near one in East Texas didn't know that trees were alive. And that's just something that just, whew, like if you don't understand that a tree is a living thing, it's really hard to get you to care about taking care of them. So I'm curious if there's anything else that you guys have ever encountered in your jobs that's just like, whoa, I don't know how they found that or got to that conception, but here we are.
I've experienced one misconception. I I had an adult again who thought that all of the plants in nature were planted by somebody, that someone came along and put them where they were and arranged them for the beautification of nature, I guess. I don't know.
I would love if that was like true. What a genuine thing for a human to do. But it seems so silly when we think about it, right? Does anybody else have any other ones?
Adding to that one, in parks and state parks, people think that we go around watering all the flowers and all the plants, and we tell the animals when to come out, or when to hide. So people ask us a lot, like, when are you going to have the birds out here? Where are the birds going to be? And I'm like, I don't tell them where to be. They just are. It's nature. So I
Exactly.
think a
And
lot of
it's
times the misconception is that everything that has animals is like a zoo. It's kind of, we're getting away from the idea that something can be wild, but it's interesting.
exactly. Ted has another one, the PLT state coordinator Jaden was mentioning. Um, he used to work at state parks, and there was a river that people would get into. I think it was Medina, where he used to be. And the people would get in the river, and then he'd get a call that he'd have to go rescue these people miles and miles and miles down the river because they assumed that the water would come back around again, like a lazy river at an amusement park. And we tell these stories jokingly to each other in natural resources and in our jobs, and this is the world we live in. And it seems so ridiculous to us that somebody could think that way. And then we really back up and realize that everything that they know, they're taught. And if they haven't been taught it, they'd never know. They'd never be exposed to this idea until it became necessary. So people can go their entire lives with assuming these things, and they're just so dead wrong that it's comical, but we can't laugh. We just have to offer a resource that corrects those misconceptions. So that brings me to my next question. In your programs, whatever misconception you've come across, Do you currently have an activity or a resource that exists to help address those questions that you've come across? And if you do, is it easy to find? Do people know that you offer this resource? Do people actually access it? And how do you know? How do you track the use of your resources? And I get a lot of answers to these questions, and every time we do this presentation, it's a wide range of responses, and people start to open their eyes a little bit. Like, should I be paying attention to those things? I have no idea if they use it or not. I think it's easy to find, but I don't know what they think. And because this was so consistent across the network, we realized that Nature Challenge was so much more than just a place to go find fun activities. It's an opportunity for us as the network, as the providers, the people that do the good work, to track what we're doing a little bit more effectively. And because of the way the platform is built, it allows us to do that without really any extra work on you guys' part beyond just creating your challenges. So, like I said, it's the new model. We are trying to make this as sustainable as possible and automating some of these functions that used to require a lot of staff time before. And we're just getting better. So right now we're at the 2.0 version, and we have plans for 3.0 and 4.0. And Nature Challenge will continue to improve based on feedback from the network because it's designed by you for you. And we're hoping that can keep everybody elevated together. The new website, which I'll pull up in just a little bit, it's pretty basic right now. We were kind of starting out with this proof of concept and getting everything functional, and then we'll continue to add to it as we go. But the URL is naturechallenge.earth, and you can pull it up right now if you'd like to. For my goals for just today, I don't know how much time we have, Sarah, and just cut me off at any point if I'm going over.
We've probably got about like 5-10 minutes left, and then I can wrap up in the last few minutes of the hour.
Okay, so hopefully I'll describe these three things: what it is, what it does, and how it helps you. And then very briefly on another reason why it's so important. Even though we know nature's there, people are still not going outside. Even though we have all these resources, even if we have ensured that they're easy to find on our websites, people are still not accessing them. And I think that a lot of it has to do with not knowing where and how and all of these barriers that exist. We know there's barriers. We've identified the barriers. Now let's do the work of really breaking it down and making it as easy as we can for people. I use the story of my friend, second generation immigrant, was not a nature person. She had me as a friend, so she called me every other day. Where do I go? Where do I take my kids? What can we do? Do you have an idea for an activity that I can do with my toddler at the park? I don't want him to just be playing on the slides. I want him to be engaging with the park and the nature and learning things. And it occurred to me that a lot of people feel that way. And it's so sad that they may not have somebody to ask. And if you're not already existing in this little network, this world of naturey people, that can be a really isolating thing, a scary thing, and you won't get started because you don't have an easy place to get going. So with her, I started small, really hands-on. I took her kids camping, we went hiking, we practiced all of these really fundamental skills, kind of that early childhood stuff that Sarah and Jaden were talking about a minute ago. I did that with them because I knew what to do. And I'm trying to design Nature Challenge with that in mind, because not everybody has a naturey friend. And that family very quickly became a super outdoorsy group, and now they'll go off to like Calgary and Banff and camp in the wild for weeks at a time, and they're those people now as a result of these experiences. And I think that that's a really great success story. I wish we could see that for everybody. So we're changing the way that we're connecting and making it a little bit easier for people in the 21st century in this very hyper digital world that we live in, where everything's an app and everything's online. Cool. Okay, let's meet them where they're at. It's also allowing us to think bigger. And this is one of the reasons why TCINN is so important in these meetings that we have, because we have always referred to ourselves as the silos. We work in these little groups and we do our own thing. And TCINN has really just made us recognize that we're not silos, we're bubbles. Bubbles can be popped, bubbles can morph, bubbles can come together and plan and do great things. And they're really fun and pretty and colorful. And I think that that represents us better as a network. So we'll break down these barriers, track our engagement, gather more data, and then really be able to, as an entire network, better estimate our impacts in a way that we've never been able to before. I'm going to skip through some of these slides and we can get to what it offers. Naturechallenge.earth, that's the URL. It's a site where you can post challenges, but really the challenges are just activities, things that you guys already have on hand, resources you've already developed, and you're just putting them in a place where people can find them. There's no end to the number of audiences that the site can reach. On the challenge form itself, the list of audiences that you can choose from is pretty large. These are just some of the key ones that we are highlighting because of the grant that we used to build this tool from the U.S. Forest Service. Families is obviously an audience for us, as well as classroom students, teachers, and I like to highlight specifically for seniors in communities where they may live in an assisted living facility and they get so often overlooked. But there are so many of these places, and it's an opportunity for us to create some resources for somebody who may not have something. The types of challenges can be anything, an activity, a worksheet, a nature hike, anything. You can plan service projects. You can base it around existing events or programs that you have recurring throughout the year. You can design things that people are supposed to do at home. And the categorization structure as you're making your challenges allows you to define all of the keywords and the tags and the subject matter that it applies to, so that when people are looking for opportunities, they can search and filter by things that might be relevant to them. It has a map of place-based opportunities. So if you're at a location where you can offer things to the public and they can come do things on site, great use of the map. And then there's also the challenge list, which is just anywhere challenges, we call them, things that are designed to be done outdoors, at home, but they can be done from anywhere. Creating a challenge it's pretty simple. It really doesn't require all that much. It's just a form that you'll fill out, and I'll show you in just a minute. Once you get it down, it doesn't take very long. I think the first challenge I put in took me about 30 minutes maybe, and then now I've got it down to just a few minutes per challenge. And we'll see on the map in just a second that there's not that many right now, and I would like to populate this map with as many colors as we can. Becoming a provider is super easy. You are approved by the administrator on the site, and we do that to make sure that our security checks are in place. Organizations that are not approved providers cannot create challenges. But as a part of the network, you guys have access to that platform, and me as an administrator, I'll read your application as a provider and approve you, and then you have full license to create as many challenges as you want. Your challenges do not need to be approved themselves because you are an approved provider. It's free to use for you. Free marketing and promotion as we all kind of collectively share the platform. It allows you to see what's going on around you. You can use things that you already have, and it's gathering data that you maybe weren't able to gather before. Okay, I'm going to go straight to the site now so we can just kind of get a preview of that. Can you still see my screen? Is the window still sharing? Okay. So this is the homepage. Again, it's super simple right now, but we're going to continue to build it out. So you can go to get started, or you can find a challenge either from the menu or the homepage, and this takes you to the map. So this is what I was saying earlier, like I would like to see this entire map full of opportunities, and they're all kind of categorized by ecosystem type, or the thing that they're most relevant to, and then it has some like quick information for families. When's it offered? Is it free? Is it family friendly for little kids? Is it outdoors? It'll say if it's indoors exclusively, if it's an easy, medium, or hard, and then how long it'll take. And you can just kind of sort through based on what you might be looking for. And if you don't want something place-based to go do on site, you can just search the directory of all the things that could be done externally like that. So becoming a provider is super simple. There's more information on what that means on this page right here. But to create an account, all you do is come up here to log in and register, and then this sign up for free button. You'll be a provider, and then you'll enter this information here. This is the first step, and it'll prompt you to verify your email and just kind of get checked into the system. And then it'll ask you to complete your provider profile. And those are the details that an administrator would need to review who you are and make sure that you're a valid, reputable organization, which all of you are. And then you'll get your approval notice, and you can get into your account and make some challenges. So let me show you what that will look like. So once you're logged in, you'll see your provider dashboard. It has the list of all of the challenges that you currently have active. And then to create a new one, it's just a form. It's information that you'll enter for your challenge. And because all of this information is collected here, and it'll auto-generate your challenge information page, it kind of takes away some of the steps for promoting it, as long as you have the information ahead of time. The most time-consuming step you'll find is to come down here, and if say it's like a worksheet that you want people to finish, maybe they're going on a hike and it's like a scavenger hunt, you'll upload that worksheet, all of the materials get put into the challenge, and then it will ask you to define what the steps are. These can be as simple as complicated as you like. Total of 11, or I'm sorry, 10 steps, because the 11th step is always earn your badge. And that's the incentive for the public right now. As a result of participating in the challenge, if they have an account and are logged in, they can earn their digital badges. And that is the second most time consuming step. We try to make it easier, is that you can upload your badge, whatever kind of badge you'd like. You can upload your own, and you can use one of these templates in Canva if you're familiar with the platform and know how to use that. It's fairly simple. Or you can select from one of these pre-made ones right here. And then down here, which is this section that we're doing the most improvements on right now, so this will be getting an update in the very near future. This is where data collection is possible. So understanding what you might want to know from your audiences as a result of their participation. And then you can define your own questions as well. So if you have some clear ideas of the outcomes that you're looking for and the kinds of questions that you want your audience to answer to earn their badge, you can define those here. You'll submit your challenge. And I will say right now, it doesn't save partial progress. So if you're going to put in a challenge, do it all in one go, and then make sure you hit submit at the bottom, or else you'll have to come back in and re-enter your information. We're working on it. I know that that's kind of a limiting situation sometimes. And let's go back to our dashboard. You'll also see that you have your own analytics dashboard here too, just giving you some basic information about your challenges and participation, number of users that said they had fun or learned something. Again, this is going to continue to build and grow as we get more feedback from the network and more challenges. And then you'll have the Excel file download of those responses from your users. So if they filled out the survey to earn their badge, then that's where you'll have access to that information there. This is what a challenge for our page looks like. I'll just find an example. Let's do we just created this one last, what weekend? Melanie, you're here. What weekend did we do that? Was it last weekend?
Last weekend, yes.
So we made this as an on-site challenge for McKinney Falls. We had a water activity that Melanie created, so that resource is shared right here, things that you'll need, and they would download that resource and bring it with them, or maybe print it out or do it on their phone, however they want to do it. Again, it walks them through the steps. And if they are logged in and they want to actually accept the challenge to earn the badge, then this is what that process looks like. It reminds them again what they're going to need. And as soon as they've clicked that button and they are logged in, it automatically tracks this challenge to their account as something that they've saved, so they can come back to it at a future time if they need to. Reminds them of what those steps are. And then they've completed the challenge, and you can define what those questions are. We kept it super simple for this one. These are the basic stock questions that we needed to ask because of the grant. Enjoyed it, learned something, great, they'll submit. And then as a user, it would take the badge that we made for it and assign it to their profile automatically that they can come back to. Let's see what else. Your provider details. This is the step that's confusing the most people right now. So we're working on a solution. It is a two-step process. You'll fill in that first form that I showed you. It asks you to confirm your email, and then you'll go back in and fill out the rest of these sections once you're actually able to log into your account. And this is the information that populates your page, like your provider information page. So the list of providers, this directory is also here. So if the public is looking for a specific organization, then they come to your page. And if that section on your profile is completely filled out, they'll have everything they need on your organization. If not, this is what it's going to look like. So it's to your benefit to make sure that your information is accurate and updated, and then you can come back at any time and make those changes that you'd like. I think that's it for now. Do you guys have any questions?
I will also share JC's contact information. So if afterwards you're like, oh, I did have a question, you can contact her.
Yes, please. Anytime. This is a new platform, and we're learning and we're growing. And I've been troubleshooting things with providers about weekly. So at any point in time, if you do have a question, feel free to contact me. This is a new feature that we added. I just wanted to mention it real quick. If you create a profile for your organization, you also can create editors for that. So the login doesn't necessarily need to be shared. If you have people underneath you that you're wanting to create challenges, what they will do is go in and create a user explorer account. And as long as you know what that email was, then you can send them a request to become an editor and it'll elevate their permissions within the site. And then when they log in, it'll show their dashboard for both a user and then that provider page that they've been given access to so they can create challenges for you. Other than that, I'm hoping that it becomes the next biggest, coolest thing because it really solves a lot of problems for a lot of people. And it's helping us gather new kinds of data that are continuously improving. This is that master dashboard that's really just kind of global analytics for everything that's happening on the site. And we will grow as we go.
Great. Thank you, JC.
Mhm.
We are almost at 4 o'clock, so if you need to hop off, I completely understand. If you have a few minutes, I just wanted to give a couple of TCI&N specific announcements. First up, you may have seen that we, as Texas Children in Nature Network, in an attempt to increase our sustainability as an organization, have launched membership. So this is a paid membership format now within Texas Children in Nature Network. We tried to keep it as affordable as we could while still understanding the reason for us doing this process. We do have a couple of different levels of membership. We have an individual for $50 a year, an organization for $150, and then Stewardship Circle is $1,000, and then our corporate memberships for $5. Some benefits that come with the membership are being able to access our webinars for free. We are charging for those now. And then a discount on the summit registration. And then we've got a membership directory as well. Organizations at the organizational level, you also get technical assistance from our staff as a member. So if you're interested in becoming a member, just let me know. Christine TWA has become a member. So if you want to go to any of our webinars, just ask Cassie for your registration code, and she can get that to you. But thank you, TWA, for becoming a member. But I just wanted to share that out as something new. And then also, Summit is coming up. The summit will be in Bryan College Station, December 3rd through 5th. And the request for session proposals is officially open. So if you're interested in putting in a session proposal, that process is open. And then on May 28th, we have a Q&A session available as well. So if you have any questions about putting in your session proposal, I know JC, you've presented in the past. I will say our group is very kind. So if this is your first time ever presenting at a conference, this is probably the lowest stakes of any conference to present at.
I can second that. It actually is fun. I never walk away from any of these presentations feeling worse. I always feel super energized and supported, and people make me very happy that I do this kind of work. So if that's a barrier, just so you know, it's awesome.
And we would love to see more Caprock folks at the summit. Misty got to go last year. We would love to see, your region show up. And so those are kind of our big TCINN announcements. Any questions about either of those things? Okay.
I will just kind of throw out getting to go was actually very beneficial to our whole group. One, it was a lot of learning and fun and meeting with other people that kind of opened our eyes to some other collaboration opportunities that we didn't realize, same missions. In fact, we're actually going to be working with Chasing the Tide team and doing a cleanup out here. And but I don't think any of that would have happened if we hadn't gone to the summit. So kind of just cool things that are still coming from just getting to go to that and meet people.
Well, thank you so much. And now turn it over to y'all if you have announcements that you want to share with the group.
I have one, Melanie. It's you made it. So, do you want to announce Flock?
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I wasn't sure since this is my first meeting. But we are finally launching the Forest Literacy online course. It's a free course for really anybody that's interested in learning more about forests and natural resources and how forests benefit us. It is launching May 16th through our AgriLife Learn website. Sarah, we'll be sending you all this information sometime soon so that you can send it out to the entire network. But we've been working on it for the past 9 to 10 months and developing it, and it's really, really exciting seeing it come to life. But yeah,
Wonderful.
it'll be a free course, so anybody can register.
Great. And Melanie, if you would like, if you want to write a paragraph or two about it, we can add it to the newsletter because the
Yeah,
newsletter
that'd be
will go
good.
out kind of mid-May. So right around the
Oh,
time.
that's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'll send you that one or two paragraphs and everything
Yeah.
else.
Anything else? Anyone?
Sign up to be a provider. Go create challenges. There's nothing in the panhandle right now, and people need to know that there's fun stuff to do.
Yeah, and I would say definitely look in your cabinet. There's no need to create anything new.
Yes, exactly. Reuse what you've already put time to make.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. I'm sorry I didn't get my ducks in a row to have a field trip this spring, but we will have one this fall.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.